Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talk About Transformers. I'm your host, Sir Tacos, the monotone misfit himself, and we're going to be taking a look at the Bumblebee movie Brawn figure from Studio Series. And before we get to look at the figure, we'll go ahead and take a look at the box, so we'll go ahead and move. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk About Transformers. I'm your host, Sir Tacos, the monotone misfit himself. And did anyone even notice that the video started without the actual intro slides? Did I trick anybody? And did this actually trick anybody? I don't know. But today we're actually going to be taking a look at Studio Series Arcee from the Bumblebee movie line. I will eventually get to Brawn and his buddies. But I keep getting interrupted by new stuff, mostly Legacy. But since I have everyone in Legacy that I'm interested in, which is basically everyone except the next waves and those other two Walmart exclusive repaint Beast War figures, then I can finally get into some of the Studio Series backlog I've got. So we'll go ahead and move Arcee off the screen so we can take a look at her box. Top of the box, Transformers Bumblebee. I've got a rip in mine. At least it's not as bad as Kickback's box. Transformers Bumblebee, Takara Tomy Generations with your big old Transformers down the side. Studio Series 85 Arcee, 8 Plus Hasbro. There you have an image of her from the Bumblebee movie, where she had I think she might have had more time than some of the other people, and she definitely had a few lines in that. So, you know, that's fun. I'm not complaining, by the way. I love that scene, and I thought it was a really good establishing thing. And I think it's cool that we're getting figures of all these characters, but that's something that everyone always talks about. The lack of screen time and lines, but we're getting figures. But I like these figures, so go figure. Here we have the side of the box where you can see the Autobot logo cut out around the one from the display base. Here you've got Arcee in her robot mode again. Doing something. I'm not 100% sure what this image is. She looks like she's trying to hold a gun that's not there. But there you have your Transformers authentic logo. On this side you have your Studio Series 85 with just her face zoomed in from that image. You can see her thumb still there like she's holding an invisible gun. There you have your Deluxe class, and if you can't understand this video, you might understand those languages, multiple languages all over the box. Here we have big screen inspired Bumblebee movie. Cybertron Falls is the scene that this is from. I never really noticed that they were putting that on there, but maybe we'll call it out from now on. There she is as a robot. There she is as Tron Cycle, or the Bat Cycle from The Dark Knight, if you will, but pink. There are 23 steps in her conversion. There is her backdrop included in multiple languages. There is her one sentence, 2-line bio. You've got warnings and words. So a little story time right now. This is a sticker for a barcode, so it would show up in Target's system. And my Ironhide doesn't have this, so it wouldn't ring up. So I actually got it for 15 bucks. The Ironhide. This I got for full price after taxes. In my state it was $20.03. So go ahead and check your Targets, I guess, for these guys and see if it doesn't scan in their system, if you can get it at a suggested price. Here you have the bottom of the box, which has stuff in multiple languages. Maybe I'm gonna, is anyone even reading this? Should I stop flipping it upside down? Just showing you that it's there is good enough, right? And inside the box, you've got this little cardboard insert that she was in. You've got leftover snip plastic, her instructions, which I never used, and then you've got the cardboard backdrop. Oh, look at all the snipped plastic. And it shows a Cybertron scene in the act of war on Cybertron. How fascinating. You've got Bumblebee Movie, Transformers, Studio Series number 85, and we'll go ahead and put this all back in her box. Oh look, random white paper. Not sure what that's in there for. Does anyone know what that's in there for? Has anyone... I don't take the instructions out, so don't really know what that's for. Does anyone have knowledge on that? You guys want to leave that in the comments. All these little plastic ties on my film space. I cannot grab them. They're too small for my giant fingers. Alright. Excuse me. And there is the box, looking nice and pretty, just so we can throw it. And with the box out of the way, we'll go ahead and start taking a look at the figure proper. Alrighty, and here we have Arcee in her vehicle mode. And she does, to me, look kind of like a Tron cycle, or like the Tumbler cycle from The Dark Knight Rise. Not Rises, scratch that, just The Dark Knight. If you've seen that, here she is. We'll give you a 360 of the vehicle mode. Then we'll take a look. You've got some paint here on the bottom of the shins. That is a gray paint, a silvery, like a dark gray silver. I'm hesitant to call it a gunmetal. It might be. The color of the legs might just be throwing it off for me. But you've got lots of pink paint all the way down the side. I think this is plastic. And this might be plastic down here too with the white on it, but all this is painted. Then you've got it, like, it's easy to tell in person that this is a little off, but on the camera it's all actually, it's blending together pretty good there. I couldn't tell what was paint and what wasn't on the camera for a second. I thought there was more paint than there was. Jeez. Then you got some of that gunmetal-y paint back here that was up here, and I think it is probably a gunmetal. Now that I'm seeing it on a different color, you've got painted in wheels back here with the little plastic nubbins there. You've got the different colored plastic for the joint there on that section. Here she is from the back, where you've got her robot mode torso. And to me, when the hands are transformed and folded in, it kind of looks like someone's questioning being accused, just like you did it, and this motorcycle's butt is like, are you accusing me? That's what I get from that. Just you dare accuse me. Here it is from the other side. Yay. And from the top, you've got some paint there on the front, white paint with a little bit of that gunmetal. Blue transparent plastic for this piece that is painted pink. For the little windshield, you've got that white paint, and then just the various details in here from the transformation. It doesn't look too bad actually, considering what it is. And here it is from the bottom, and you've got a butt and some legs. And if you try really hard, visible head syndrome all the way up in there. But that's it for the appearance of the vehicle. Here is the rolling. It can do the rolling, and that's basically it for vehicle mode, other than accessory storage. So we'll go ahead and pop these off so we can show off the accessories real quick. Here they are, little pistols that she has. They are the same molded component because they each have the same notch on the side here above the handle for storage purposes, so they are not side specific, but the mold is pretty good, and you are supposed to apparently plug them in here. From what other reviewers have said in the instructions, it shows you this. I don't know. And this is the original way I stored them, to cover up the hands too, but I don't like that they're so easily turned. I don't like that. So I just store them in their robot mode configuration, which is here. even though the hands are visible, they're more stable, and I actually like the way they look here better. And that's it for the vehicle mode. So we'll go ahead and get to some size comparisons and then take a look at transformation. Alright, and to start off our size comparisons, here she is with the Core Class Starscream figure. Here she is with the Studio, or no, what am I even, I don't even know what I'm saying. Here she is with the KO New Age Starscream mold, so a little bigger than Legends. Here she is with Deluxe Class Skids from Transformers Legacy. Here she is with Voyager Class Bulkhead from Transformers Legacy. And last but not least, here she is with Grimlock from Studio Series 86. Alrighty, and that is about it for the vehicle mode, so we'll go ahead and take a look at the transformation. I am not going to remove the guns. I don't have to move the guns. They're going to stay there the whole time. And what I like to do first is go ahead and pop this open. It'll just kind of thoop open, and I like to get the head out of here first, just because if I forget to do it, then it gets harder to do later. So you'll fold her head out and then pop this back shut because it doesn't need to be open. For robot mode, if you wanted to, you could have her driving around like this if you turn the head around. If you so chose to do this, I don't know why you would other than to be goofy, but there you go. Her head is out. We'll go ahead and start folding up this top pink section. So we're going to detach it from the legs. There are two little slots in the legs, the shin areas, that these two pegs will peg into, and then you've got a little tab that just sits under this flap like so. So we're going to undo that, and we're going to accordion this up on this gray double hinge, and then the little tabs we use to secure into her shins are then going to secure into these slots here. So we'll go ahead and make sure we watch those go in, and we can leave her backpack like that for now. We'll go ahead and to pop these off, I find it easiest to, there's a little tab in there you can see, and that's the forearm. So pop the forearm out, and then it is tabbed into the side of her thigh. There's a big old slot, big old tab. So we'll fold that out. Same thing on the other side. We'll pop it all the way at once, I guess, and we'll just leave those like that for now. We will unpeg the front of the thighs from this section. You've got the big old tabs and the big old slots, and we'll rotate that down. At this point, you can rotate the torso around so that the front is facing the front, and we'll go ahead and finish the legs off. Now you split the legs open, and in vehicle mode, let me rotate one back. In vehicle mode, they're all flat like this, but there is a hinge here, and you can see this little circular shape. There's little circular pegs there, and it's like a friction hold. So in vehicle mode, it's held there, and then in robot mode, you just kind of rest it against it. It doesn't tab in. It's kind of, you know, it can move around, but the leg is not heavy or anything, so it's not going to move anywhere. You don't want it to unless you bump it, but I fold that all the way out. For clearance purposes, rotate the wheel around on this section, so that way we have room to rotate the foot. You're going to pull this gray section out and away to dislodge that tab, rotate it around, and that tab is going to relocate back here, but there is a notch in the wheel for this white section to sit in, so you want to make sure you rotate that there, and then get everything located all at once like that, so the wheel is locked into place and it's not bowed out because the white part isn't sitting where it should. And then we can go ahead and fold the foot back down and rest that leg in place, and there is a leg all done. We'll go ahead and do the second side. So fold it out, rotate the foot down, flip the foot around, make sure this gap is going to get locked in properly by that white section before you secure it all in together. Then rotate the leg and just rest this bottom part of the shin against the back of her leg, and there you have her legs all done. We can go ahead and dislodge this back section. You've got big tabs here that go into slots there for vehicle mode, so we can dislodge that all and rotate it back. We'll take her head at this point on this assembly, and you want to make sure that this wider flared out part goes past these pegs here and rests down there, and then the backpack will fit together. You've got the tabs that plugged into the thighs that'll just squeeze into the torso there for your connection to hold that all in place. And then you can take these, rotate them around and back, rotate around and back. They don't secure in place. They are not loose in any sense of the word, but they do stay via friction. Then we'll go ahead and fold her arms out and straighten them down, or fold her hands out and straighten her arms down, I should say. And there you have Bumblebee Movie Arcee in her robot mode. We'll go ahead and take a look at that and then get into some size comparison. Alrighty, and here we have Arcee in the robot mode. We'll go ahead and zoom in and take a look at some details real quick. There you have her face sculpt. The eyes almost look like they're painted silver. Am I the only one seeing that? From a distance they almost look like they're transparent, but I think they might be painted silver. You've got that kind of off-white plastic used for the head. You've got the side circles done in pink. The face is done in a very, very light pink with a little bit of silver on that crest, and I think it's the same silver for the eyes. You've got gray plastic under the head with that gunmetal on this torso collar section. You've got the white on the front with the pink Autobot symbol. Coming down the torso, you have more white down here surrounding gray. Lots of nice color breakup. Anyone who's watched me for a little while knows that I enjoy my color breakup. Here on the arms, you've got pink going into gray, going into pink, going into white. It's a decent amount of color breakup there. You've got gray hips with the white legs going all the way down, but you've got the pink knee pads to break that up, and then you've got that gunmetal paint with the gray feet and wheels for some color breakup here on the bottom. Coming up the side, pretty much just got the color down here, and then it's all white up the side. These details, if you have the skill, you could go in and paint some of this stuff gray or silver, and that would probably look really good down in there. And then she's got the backpack. It is not completely terrible to me. Arcee's always had kind of a backpack, and it's kind of always had those two little wing fin things that the car is supposedly all jammed up into. And they kind of did that here. And you know, if you have them positioned right, it kind of looks like this is the backpack, and the backpack stops here, and then it's all wings. Then when you turn, you can see the rest of it from the back, but if you use your imagination, you can kind of work out that her back is here, and there's just hollow space between these. You've got this wing, and then there's actually nothing in there if you look at it from the side. Then from the front, it doesn't even look too bad, because most of this gap here, even though there's blue transparent plastic there, since it's transparent, you could, you know, ignore it, and it's just the wings there. But I digress. Going down the back, you've just got the front of the motorcycle hanging out with the fake wheels in the back of the motorcycle. And then you've got the front there. And then she's got a pink booty with the same amount of color breakup as the front of the legs, minus the pink on the knees, because it's all non-painted plastic, that off-white plastic. And it looks good. And then I like what they did with the heels. If they had done, this is kind of like what they did with the original Prime Arcee, both versions. And if they had done something like this for the Legacy one, I would have liked that figure a lot better. I just think that the wheels on that one were inelegant. We'll go ahead and go back out here and take a look at some articulation. Her head is on a ball joint, and you can rotate it 360. As you saw in the transformation process, it's got a little bit of tilt, and you can go pretty far up and a decent amount down. The shoulder is also on a ball joint in there, so you've got full 360 if you bend it slightly for that backpack wing, and you can get a little over 90 degrees out. You have your full 360 bicep rotation. She has double jointed elbows. You've got the transformation joint here, and then you've got another joint down here, and so she can do the double jointed elbows. Her hands are so tiny, she's got no wrist rotation, but you can bend in for transformation, and if someone accuses her of something, she can look offended and appalled that someone would accuse her of something. She's got a full 360 at the waist, as we saw during the transformation. For the legs, they are on universals, or no, those are ball joints. So she's got ball jointed hips, goes out all the way, goes back all the way. If the guns weren't there, and they don't have to be, you can get them back all the way, or you can just flare the wing out a little bit. So it goes back all the way, it goes forward all the way. If you start going out, you can get a higher kick even. There's a dedicated thigh swivel because the white and the gray are different parts. So that is your thigh swivel. The ball joint's kind of working in there a little bit too, but it's not doing much. And then you've got a single jointed knee that gets you that much. And then you've got this weird joint here. You could call that ankle rocker if you really want to. Forward and back ankle rocker, go for it. And then you've got the tilt at the foot, mostly due to the transformation. They worked that into the articulation, and it's a decent amount of tilt at that. And then these don't really spin, because if you've locked them in place correctly, they aren't supposed to. And that's pretty much it for Arcee's articulation. We'll go ahead and give her her weapons. So you're just going to pop them off there and do the peg in the port in the hand dealio. So we'll go ahead and do that here. And she's got her weapons. And so now that she has her weapons, I think we're about ready to do some size comparisons if I don't keep splitting her torso in half. So we'll get her posed up and we'll get going with some size comparisons. Alrighty, and starting off our size comparisons, there she is with Skywarp, Core Class Skywarp from Legacy. Here she is with the KO New Age slightly upscaled Legends Seeker mold, this being Skywarp. Here she is with the Deluxe sized Voyager class Hot Rod from Studio Series 86. And don't we all like to see a Hot Rod with an Arcee for some reason? Here she is with the Voyager class Voyager sized Cyclonus from Kingdom. And last but not least, here she is with the Leader class Dinobot Slug from Transformers Studio Series 86. And I called him Slug. His name is Slag. Slag is his name. And that about does it for your Bumblebee movie Arcee Deluxe class figure. Cons here, I don't really have many. The hands being in the back of the vehicle mode might bother some people. They don't bother me. If you do the official weapon storage where the guns are in the hands, then they're covered up pretty good. It bothers me that they get knocked around more than it bothers me that the hands are there. And can't really think of anything else I don't like on it, to be honest. I actually really like this figure a lot, guys. The transformation is actually really fun for a cycle former. It's pretty clean, especially if you do some mental gymnastics like I mentioned earlier, because most of it is just kind of a backpack there. And you know, with the shape of those and the fact that they're like the rocket part of like the motorcycle back, it could be a jetpack even. Go nuts. Just don't go crazy about how bad it is just because the backpack's a little big. You know, use your imagination. The rest of the robot looks great, and have fun with it. The articulation's really good, and the paint is good. I like all the different colors that come through, so it's not really boring anywhere. Yeah, definitely a good figure to grab, guys. I definitely think that you should pick this one up. And with that out of the way, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next episode of Talk About Transformers. Go ahead and like this review. If you thought it was good, go ahead and leave a comment. If you want to say something to me or about the figure in general, and go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more. I've also got some playlists and stuff linked in the description, social media and whatnot. And that's it. So, see you next time.